have the general form of a quadratic equation. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And remember, a, b, and c are called coefficients. Right now, I have a, b, and c just set to 0 so that we're not distracted by anything on the screen. But what we're going to do here is just a brief introduction about how a, b, and c might affect the shape of your graph. So what we have here is we have three sliders. This means we can change the values of a, b, and c by sliding these. So, for example, I'm going to leave a as 0 for a minute because I want to make a point. Let's make b equal to 2, let's say. Okay, so if b is equal to 2, and for example c is equal to -1, you'll notice that we have a linear graph here. If you recalculate the slope of that, the slope would be 2, and the y-intercept here would be -1. Right? And if you look at the equation, which is over here in our algebra window, hopefully that's not too surprising, right? 0x squared is just the same as 0. So really what we have here is a linear function, y equals 2x minus 1. Okay, so that's just a little bit of review for linear equations. We can change the slope by changing b around, and we can change the y-intercept by changing c. However, if we change a, something interesting happens. So let's see what happens if we start changing a, which is the coefficient of the x squared term. Ooh. Okay, so as soon as we have an a that's not 0, we get one of these curved shapes, which in this case it's a parabola because we have a quadratic function. So as soon as we make a number that's not 0, we get a quadratic. And notice that if I change a, it changes the shape of that curve. If you want, you can take a minute. I'm about to change the value of b. If you want to take a minute and think about it, you could make a quick prediction about what might happen if I change b. Okay, here I go. So I'm going to take b, I'm going to increase it, so I'm going to go above 0, and if I make it b more than 0, you can see the graph is changing a bit. Put that back to 0. Okay, and then lastly, c, we can change c. So you might want to take a minute here and think, what happens if I change c? Okay, here I go. I'm going to start by decreasing c. So I'm going to make it go negative. So for example, if c is -2, the graph looks like this. If c is -4, the graph is like this. Okay, so your goal is going to be investigating a, b, and c, and being able to explain what does each of those coefficients do to affect the shape of the parabola. Okay, so there's a link to this. Well, you can see the link to the GeoGebra document here, but I'll also put a link in the area below this video so that you can see it there as well.